Yeah. Sunny. Yeah. Sunny. Yeah. Bado nauliza ni how. Mziki ni kama ni vao. Kalamu ni banga na shika na kata kijana talanta kibao. Stick to the shit that I know. I do not fuck with the rest. You think this should be a test? You should not fuck with the best. Watadhani ni katu kwa sobibo. Thinking a fight will be horrible. Itabidi wa vaminos. Line them all up, let them drop like a domino. Press the eject. Me and butterfly the effect. Me, I just get on the mic and I point to the cowards I'm standing and asking who's next. Timbaland puts on their necks. I came to snatch all the checks. Sanju can hear when I'm snapping their fingers. It sounds like I'm sending a text. I want them M's. Hapa ni liki so 24/7 hakuna ngalikizo. Kama ni beats unajua mina kilizo. Kani madani wasawa mina pikizo. Cheza hii game nikipata mina kifizo. I don't go sika chofale si friki cho. Kani madem mina wataka kwe friki jo. Lakini ubani me I'm just a picky jo. Yeah, real on the really though. I expected more from me rappers, you bet from me niggas, you actors. I hop in that track like I'm jumping a rope. Hoping you rappers comparing your notes. Sick as can be, spread like a fucking disease. This should be wicked to see. Ripping the beat, harder than cannot believe. The fact that you know when it's me, and your woman she knows. What does she know? I got the defense strategy, she wanna depend all of me, different analogy. Acha ikae, nafunga hii chapter, I'm telling.
Yes. What's up, wonderful people? Welcome to another wonderful episode of the podcast 254 Live. I do hope that everyone is doing well and you are excited to be with us on the show. And of course, I'm bringing you wonderful vibes from the 254. The name of the jam is 254, The Homecoming. And in case you're wondering who is that particular artist, I would say this is Kip Sanif representing and actually doing the most, representing for the 254 on that particular jam. It's known as 254 The Homecoming, 254 The Homecoming, and it's actually available on different streaming platforms. And this is a jam that came out some years back. Let me just check, and just to be correct on this particular one, let me just confirm it for you. This actually came out 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago. That is Kip Sanif, 254 The Homecoming, 254 The Homecoming. And I want to welcome you to this particular episode of the podcast Live 254. And I do hope that everyone is doing wonderful and you're happy to be with us on the show. Just as we are happy to have you on the show. It's always a delight, to have your company here and to just connect with us as we speak on different issues. And even as you speak, to not just entertain, but also to enlighten and also to empower in different ways. We always are glad when you have your company. And I also have you tuning in and keeping in us company right here on the show. How has your weekend been? I would love to know because I understand for so many people, the weekend has been busy. And if you have been following closely on the news, you realize that also Parliament has also been busy, and most of the time we are not used to seeing our Parliament, being in action during weekends. But sometimes when duty calls, you will also find those particular sessions are going on even on the weekends. Nonetheless, I do hope that you're wonderful. And on this particular podcast, we like to shed spotlight on the artist. And like I did say, we just played you an intro right there by Kip Sanif, 254 The Homecoming. And Kip Sanif also has another project out, which is the HC24 Freestyle. There's a visualizer that has been dropped on his YouTube. You can also get to check that out and let us know how you feel about that particular freestyle. Before the end of the show, we shall be going back to that a little bit and playing a bit of that so that you can also get to have a feel of that particular freestyle. In case you're joining us for the very first time, I feel much welcome to this particular podcast. And you can always drop us your comment and also feel free to connect with us on X. We are on X, formerly Twitter, at Pumzi Africa. You can also find us on Instagram which is Pomzi Africa as well. We are also on Threads. I don't know whatever happened to Threads. Threads came in, and people were thinking that Threads was going to be the next big thing. But somewhere along the way, I think people did not mess with Threads that much. Let me know. Are you actually personally active on Threads? Let me know. Are you personally active on Threads? And do you find it to be the a thing? Threads was trying to combine two things. I think Threads was trying to bring in that particular element of sharing photography, and also that element of sharing text, like Twitter does or X does. And therefore, you would imagine that you having both on one particular platform, the features on X and the features on IG on two platforms, that would actually be a wonderful thing. But nonetheless, it apparently that did not augur or work very, very well with the fans who were maybe perhaps hoping that maybe the Reds would be the next big thing. So welcome to the show. Today we shall be talking about what has been happening over that particular weekend, and also maybe perhaps what we can expect or look forward to this particular week. There are so many things that are happening going down this particular week. We shall be getting to update you on some of those particular matters. We were hoping to have a panel today of the ladies, but apparently they are not able to join us. We did have Somta, who was supposed to be joining us, but I think she's having some connectivity hitches. We also did have Njeri, who happened to have another appointment on our interview, and therefore that did not, her schedule was a bit conflicted right there. But nonetheless, we shall keep it interactive. Like I did say, please find us on YouTube and also on X, on Facebook, on all platforms. Just follow us. It's Pomzi Africa on all those particular platforms. And feel free to also drop us an email in case you would like to write to us. You can feel free to do so. It's pomziafrica@gmail.com. And we are always here to keep it interactive and vibing with you. Remember, we are an African entertainment powerhouse, and we are all about empowering our different African creatives. And we also do work on events, on branding, and other different elements that you can hit us up for. So today we shall be talking about what has been happening over that particular weekend, and I want to bring our attention to an interview, a job interview that most of us did get to witness, or maybe many of us did get to witness. And that particular interview, sometimes people might say that these things are already organized. This is not really quite an interview. Sometimes you will see, sometimes you might see an advertisement for an interview, and you might think to yourself, you might think to yourself, you might
There are many Kenyans who are surprised that you can even converse in English. There are many who are asking how you would be able to be vetted.
I understand.
You cannot converse in English.
I understand, Mr. Speaker, and I must first of all say it is almost normal for people to cast doubt of what one is. Sometimes, and Oren Bai and Mishi Boko probably will bear me witness. But we can and we are as qualified as any other Kenyan. Now, Mr. Speaker, I want to walk you through my educational journey and where I drew my
more than what you did.
No, to respond to the question, okay. I want to walk you through how I achieved what I achieved, and I'll continue to achieve
with brevity.
Without a doubt. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want to mention that I drew my inspiration from one Professor Ali Mazrui. Professor Ali Mazrui did not succeed in his Cambridge examination to be admitted in the university to attain his first degree. That aside, Mr. Speaker, I want to mention to this House.
Ali Mazrui is one of the
most renowned scholar
and admirable scholars.
We love him. He's one of our own from the
coast. Not just the coastals. I love him even more. I named one of my
you must.
I named one of my brothers Mazrui.
Mr. Speaker, there is absolutely no way you cannot love Ali Mazrui, given his contribution to basically the general well-being of our society. But Mr. Speaker, this is the point. I want Kenyans to know that historical struggles are real. Are real. Someone should never imagine for a minute that if they come from places or spaces of comfort, that there may be a level playing field for everyone. Some of us come from a very poor background. Mr. Speaker, if you look at my CV, you will see I actually had to take a break for 1 year, transiting from primary into secondary. Why did I do that? Because simply my parents couldn't afford school fees. I was not living in an environment that allowed me that opportunity to be able to quickly prosper in matters of education. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I can tell this committee today, and I want many Kenyans to listen to me. Do not ever imagine your hope dies by your previous struggles. We suffered. But what gives me pride is that we could turn that around. I actually turned it around. When I found the slightest opportunity for self-improvement, which I believe is a continual process, I grabbed it. And I'm glad to the laws of the country, laws of the land, there are processes that allows someone to improve and progress in matters of education. So yes, I did not do well in my secondary school. I got a D-, no doubt. But Mr. Speaker, I turned that around. Today, as I sit here, I hold 2 degrees that are before you. Mr. Speaker, I am on my pathway to attain a master's degree from the most prestigious university in the world. And that is achieved by determination. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell Junet, Honorable Junet, that first let me begin by telling Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. Kimani Ichung'wah, I contributed to my own school fees in secondary school. I had an understanding at that time with my principal that he released me earlier than any other student because I needed to go work. And I did. And I contributed. At that point, what was my priority? To conclude KCSE. And I knew deep in my mind that I will always in my life have a chance to further pursue and acquire more knowledge. And like I said, I would have been very surprised if this question did not.
This is actually from the vetting. I do apologize. I do hope that you were able to hear about, to hear from that particular video. Really not sure. Let me share a little bit of the clip again. Seems like my mic was muted. But let me share a little bit of these once again, the last bit of it, so that you, if anyone actually missed that particular one, you can also share with me what you feel about the gravity of the issue.
Earlier than any other student because I needed to go work. And I did, contributed to my own school fees for you. Mr. Speaker, I am on my pathway to attain a master's to improve and progress in matters of education. So yes, I did not do well in my secondary school. I got a D-, no doubt. But Mr. Speaker, I turned that around. Today, as I sit here, I hold 2 degrees that are before you.
This is actually from the former governor of Mombasa. And personally, I'm not from Mombasa, but I would just like to engage even people from Mombasa when it comes to his merit or how well he performed as a governor of Mombasa. Do you feel that he made a lasting impact to the local, to the livelihoods of the local people in a meaningful and a long-lasting way? You know, because when you're going for a job, the only thing that, of course, matters, they do say that your next job is as good as your last one. You know, how well you get to contribute to the next job can also be a correlation. There's a correlation between how well you perform in the next job to how you did perform in the previous job. So right now that there is a vetting, there was the vetting of Ali Hassan JOHO to become the minister for the cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Mining. Do you feel that his involvement or his tenure as a governor of Mombasa got to, if you're actually to measure the performance of that particular of the individual as a governor of Mombasa, do you feel that he made meaningful contribution in a lasting way to the people of Mombasa, and that can also be used to merit he's a candidate in these particular position for the cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Mining? But there is something that I have always learned from people, which is your past situation, your past circumstances. Your past circumstances should not limit you from the goals that you want to pursue in the future. Just like JOHO would say, there are so many things, of course, we can take from that particular excerpt of the conversation from JOHO during the vetting as for him to become the cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Mining. So many things have actually been made, and I don't know if you guys have seen the meme going around. There's actually not a meme, but there's actually a video going around of JOHO. And on this particular show, I would not speak on this, in specifics about some previous allegations that we have had about JOHO himself. There are so many things that have been alleged about JOHO, but one thing for a fact, if his record, in terms of his pursuit of excellence in education is anything to go by, then that is one of the things that will actually give him a tick on. But when it comes to also other issues that have now been raised, I want to share another small video here that you guys can also, this is also from a file, an archive that was also shared Let me share with you these particular archives so that you guys can help make sense of all these whole, of this whole vetting process. Let me share this video because there's a whole lot going on when it comes to a country. There's a whole lot going on with land, and sometimes you might look and wonder and ask yourselves a whole lot of questions, because apparently the questions you try to answer one question and it only leads to another question. Let me share these with you guys. I'm hoping I'm able to find these clip here and a unit here. And also, before I continue to the video, I was telling you about the whole vetting process being flawed, because I will share with you this particular picture here of Ali Hassan JOHO and Jeanette Mohammed. This is actually when you go to an interview. This is actually when you go to an interview and realize that there might be a bit of a conflict of interest, because this is Ali Hassan JOHO. I think they're on a plane. I'm really not quite sure. This is a plane. I'm really not quite sure whether they are at a restaurant or this is actually a plane. But now this is on the other side. Him being vetted in yesterday. So you might also ask about the closeness of the closeness of the people who are vetting you and the interviewee at the end of the day. But that is not the video I was looking for. Let me share with us a video of what I was looking for right here. This is actually the video I was looking for. And there were some allegations back in 2010 which actually came up with names. There were names that were mentioned by Saitoti back in 2010, and they were implicated in their roles in the drug business, alleged involvement in the drug business. And this is exactly what Saitoti did say back then. So you can also let me know what you feel about this particular one. Before we go into the matter of the net worth, of what is actually the net worth of these incoming cabinet secretary for mining, because he did say that he's worth over 2.1 billion, but we shall not get. Before we get to that, let me share with us this particular video of what was said by Saitoti, and you can also make your own assertions from it as well.
They refused to identify themselves.
But matters soon took a different turn when Saitoti decided to let the cat out of the bag, naming 4 MPs suspected to be behind the drug trafficking racket and who have since been subjected to investigations.
I have been informed the following are the honorable members. Suspected. Honorable Bubi himself. Yes, Mr. Speaker. That's what there is. Honorable JOHO, Honorable Mwao, and Honorable Kabogo.
Saitoti tabled the names of John Harun Mwao, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, William Kabogo, and Hassan JOHO. This report shook everyone, but the accused persons would then begin defending themselves against Saitoti's claims.
The young people or children who are reading newspaper today at the age of 8, 9, 10, and they are seeing my name or my picture in the television saying that I'm a drug peddler. Even when they are 30 years, 20 years from today, they will be viewing me as such. Then the House must protect my integrity and those of others.
It is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that he had to rely on gossip just to tarnish our name.
The time Sonko was actually the MP for Makadara, and this is what he had to fire back with.
Wow. He should name the real drug barons, who some of them are sons of senior and top cabinet ministers.
You can actually see all the tension that was actually in Parliament at the time, And of course, we all know that Saitoti did not live longer even after he gave out these particular names and decided to put out a dossier regarding these individuals that he had mentioned. From his mention, you could also see Ojode. Ojode was also sitting by the edge of his seat on this particular video because things were getting, things were getting murky, at this particular point. But this is what they had to respond with.
In this house,
I have never dealt in drugs. I don't even know how those things that are called whatever they're called look like.
And request that the minister does apologize to members of the House that he mentioned and clears their names, Mr. Speaker.
And of course, there was a whole lot of speculation after that. There was a whole lot of speculation that did go on after that. And now we go on to the next issue of the net worth. The net worth. Last week, was it last week? Yeah, I believe last week, there was a question of how wealthy are these individuals who will actually being vetted for the positions of cabinet secretaries in different ministries. And there was a bit of a check. There was a bit of a check between how wealthy they were 2 years ago before they were nominated or before they were appointed to become cabinet secretaries, and how wealthy they are right now 2 years down the line after having served in the positions of cabinet secretaries 2 years down the line. And it was found that most of them have actually made a whole lot of money within those 2 years. And there are so many questions that are being poked. Of course, while Kenyans were actually going through difficult times, the majority of the Kenyans are actually going through difficult times. There has been that particular speculation and assertion that for these particular cabinet secretaries, for them, they made a whole lot of money, and therefore questions, eyebrows are actually being raised about how it is that they made their money. But JOHO, JOHO, going back to the whole issue of JOHO and why his interview did stand out, is because for him, his net worth was said to be 2.1 billion, 2.3 billion. I said that he's actually worth 2.3 billion. And he did say he has 2 degrees, pursuing a master's at Harvard Kennedy School. He said he does cleaning business that can be audited. And he said, I will review the Mining Act and build capacity for deep sea fishing. He said, I will remove cartels and brokers from the mining industry. He also said, I will develop blue economy regulatory framework, complete ministry digitization. And he said, I will combine sea time with training to improvement of maritime graduates. So, after he did say that he's worth 2.36 billion, there should have also been another important question, of course, that should have to this particular gentleman, which is also how much tax, how much tax are you paying? Because if you award this particular much, then Kenyans also, I think it would also be important for Kenyans to also know about the tax, how he gets to actually pay his tax. And this, of course, was also raised in a recent interview on these. Once again, let me share these as well.
Inquiry that we've been doing, yes, out of the inquiry that we've been doing yesterday and the previous days on vetting of public officials, we are being given very huge amounts of net worth. In fact, for me, that is one of the most useless questions that we are asking. Because if you're going to ask someone about their net worth, then you must also ask them how much they're paid in terms of taxes. Someone tells you that my income has grown by 100 million over the last 1 year because of appreciation of value. But we introduce tax commensurate to the increase in their wealth. And you make the young people, you're actually making 99.9%.
That is exactly the point that was actually being made, because if you're talking about the increase in wealth, but then again, you are not able to actually go on and it's supposed to be, then that also becomes a very, very big question. Nonetheless, this is a podcast 254 Live. I just want to thank everyone for being with us on the broadcast. We shall actually just end it there. But nonetheless, I would urge you to subscribe, comment if you haven't, and you can also write to us in case you would like to write to us. You can write to pumziafrica@gmail.com, pumziafrica@gmail.com, and we shall wind up with the same jam, which is by Keep Sanif. The name of the jam is actually known as 254, the homecoming, and it's jamming right here on the podcast 254 Live.
Anyhow, mziki ni kama ni vao, kalamu ni banga na shika na kata kijana talanta kibao. Stick to the shit that I know. I do not fuck with the rest. You think this shit be a test? You should not fuck with the best. What the dani ni katu kosobibo. Picking a fight will be horrible. Itapidi wa vaminos. Line them all up, let them drop like a domino. Press the eject, me and butterfly the effect. Me, I just get on the mic and I point to the cowards. I'm standing and asking who's next. Timbaland puss on their necks. I came to snatch all the checks. Sanju can hear when I'm snapping their fingers. It sounds like I'm sending a text. I want them M's. Hapa ni liki so 24/7 hakunanga likizo. Kama ni beats unachua mina kilizo. Kani madani wasawa mina pikizo. Cheza hii game nikipata mina kifizo. I don't go sika chofale si friki cho. Kani madem mina wataka kwe friki jo. Lakini ubani me, I'm just a picky jo. Yeah, real on the really though. I expected more from you rappers, you bet from me niggas, you actors. I hop on that track like I'm jumping a rope. Hoping you rappers comparing your notes. Sick as can be, spread like a fucking disease. This should be wicked to see. Ripping the beat, harder than cannot believe. The fact that you know when it's me, and your woman she knows. What does she know? I got the defense strategy, she wanna depend all of me, different analogy. Acha ikae, nafunga hii chapter, I'm telling them bye. Inapidi ndo sike ama labda ni die. King of the town itapidi ni fai, walai. I tell him where you from. 254, where you from? 254.
254, it's 254. That is our WhatsApp, guys. Make sure you join us next time. Actually on Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here, and of course on Friday as well. See you next time. Much peace and love. Koheri.